Brown Queens. We are super, super excited because we have a special guest again. She's re-recording with us because we lost our last recording. Diipa Khosla, we're so excited to have you on. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure, guys. Anything for you brown girls. I'll be back again.
We love you. We were like, she's going to be like, what the hell? Or like, let's just try it.
We love you so much.
Thank you, guys. Such an honor to be here.
Yeah, if anybody is wondering how nice she is, just this is proof.
This is proof. Yes, this definitely is.
Okay, so we could just start with kind of your career journey. I mean, obviously now you're doing magazine covers, being featured in Vogue, you have your own brand, business, but you started out just like any of us influencers on Instagram. How does that journey feel looking back, or how did that even begin for you?
Yeah, and even before I think I was an influencer on Instagram, I was just a normal Indian girl, you know, growing up in India. And my mom and dad were working very hard for us to go to good schools and good universities, but it was just started out like with, you know, nothing that, like, life didn't give me crayons that were much bigger or much more colorful than anyone else. It was just the norm. And I think a lot of the choices I made and a lot of the, I guess, choices my parents made as well for the kind of education they gave us and, you know, the kind of things they gave us in life that put me and my siblings on a different track in life, I think made a big difference right at the start. Because just being able to leave India and study abroad is something I think that made a big impact in my kind of way of looking at the world and being very international, and also understanding the power of being Indian globally and really like owning that space. So that was, I think, the early kind of bricks that were placed. And then after that, I actually was all set to become a lawyer. I studied law, but I noticed there was a big like hole in the market of this influencer world where there was no Desi who was really representing us on a global scale. And back then it was just more like should I try it? Like, why not? Like, there's someone who's got to do it, you know, like own this space and like make us proud. And because I'd worked at an influencer agency for a few months as an internship, I kind of saw it from the inside out. And I'm like, wait, it's actually quite doable. Like, if you treat this like a proper business and really have that mindset right from the start, you could make this work. And so that's how it really just started. And then doing a lot of, I guess, right things at the right time. Like, luck definitely has to play a part. If I would have started my journey today, I don't think I would be where I am. You know what I mean? Because there's so many of us, which is incredible to see how many influencers and Desi influencers there are in the world today. But back when I started, I think there was hardly anyone, if not no one, doing what I did, like on a global scale. So not just like US focused or just UK focused, but really being that global face of us everywhere. And so that really helped, of course. And then just right from the start, I've always been quite entrepreneurial in the way I strategize things and make my goals. So I think that helped. And yeah, manifestation. I always am a big believer in that. So I think all those ingredients combined brought me to where I am today. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Jyoti and me kind of did the same thing with like the podcast space. We were like, there's not a lot of Indian girls like talking about like dating and being in their 20s or being in the entertainment industry. And we wanted to fill that space with brown girls. And I feel like we grew up kind of non-traditional as well, where our parents like really allowed us to be creative. And like I studied abroad too. Do you feel like, and I know you've made a lot of non-traditional choices. Like, I love that on Instagram, you're so like, I could be a mom and still wear a crop top, or I could do this. And do you feel like growing up with like your mom that supported your dreams and creativity has like impacted those non-traditional choices, or where do you get that from?
Yeah, good question. I think I was always quite an outspoken feminist before I even knew what a feminist was.
We love to see it. We love to see
from like when I was a really little girl. And I'm not the type of feminist who's like, women are better than men. I'm the type
Yeah.
of feminist who are like, it's an equal playground. Like, we're equal. Men and women are, should and are equal. And I think that mindset was very deeply driven in me from before I even could say my ABCs. I think is just very much who I am. So when it came to, dressing the way I wanted to or anything, of course, when I was younger, there was a bit of friction between my parents. And I think they did it well. Like, they were strict, but they were like, once you're an adult, you can make your own choices. And I was never one to do it too far either. I think it's all about balance in life. It's about doing what you feel comfortable with, and not doing it for the wrong reasons, doing it for the right reasons. If it's empowerment, or if it's for showing another girl to own her body, then do it, not for sake of because you're insecure or something. So I think, it's just something very deeply driven. And my parents were very open to it, especially after I turned 18. They're like, okay, girl, this is your thing. If you think you're doing the right thing, we've given you enough lessons so far, that then now it's your choices, and you got to make them. And so I think that helps. Yeah.
Speaking of like wanting to make a difference, is that how you started Post for Change? Like you said, post to not to be insecure, but for, a change, or like that's what you want to be. So how did you start Post for Change?
So Post for Change is a funny story. It actually started on a influencer trip before the pandemic. Remember those things we used to go on trips with like brands would take influencers places? That hasn't happened in a long time. But so on one of those influencer trips, I remember sitting one evening with a executive from a brand, and she was talking about how influencer marketing is so powerful, and how they do the majority of their sales with influencers promoting them. And then I kind of had this aha moments like, hey, if influencers can do so much for a brand, and we can increase their awareness and their sales by so much, why haven't we done that for causes? Like, why haven't we done that in a similar effort with, like, say, going on a trip or visiting, the villages, where perhaps hosting education courses? Like, why don't we do that as influencers as well? And that's where it started. And my husband at the time was a diplomat for the Dutch Foreign Service, and he was working very closely with the UN, especially UN Women and UNHCR. And we kind of together were like, hey, the UN is really looking for things like this, but they just don't know how to reach out to influencers and who the right ones are. And influencers also want to lend their voices to good, but they just don't know how to reach out to UNICEF and UN Women and stuff. So we were like, hey, how about we bridge both our worlds and create an NGO where we can actually use the power of influencers to raise awareness for the causes that, these amazing NGOs are fighting on the ground. And that's how I was born. And it's been 2 years now, and it's just done phenomenally well. And we're so proud of everything we've managed to achieve with that. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. If you ever need people, me are always looking for nonprofits to be a part of, and
exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like combining like purpose with kind of what you do for work, which is amazing. You also take a lot of stance on your social media that are like we said, like non-traditional, and not just for women, but like for Indian women. How have you like found the balance between not just being like a female in this space, but like representing like your culture and doing things that maybe like traditional Indian women wouldn't do? Or like, how have you found your voice in that space?
I think it just really like evolved over the years. And I don't want to take complete credit for it, but I think and you guys will feel this too, there is definitely a groundswell of like pride, and pride in where you come from. There's pride in representation, because as I was growing up, I almost loved it when people said, oh my God, you don't look really Indian. I was like, oh, thanks. Like that was almost a compliment. Now it's so like, it is my greatest pride to be Indian and to be able to represent us. And like, I'm proud the fact that I have melanin in my skin. Like, I'm proud, and there's this movement, I think, that perhaps was catalyzed by the Black Lives Movement as well, where there's this pride that we feel in who we are, where we come from, the fact that we're women, the fact that we're minority women. There's so much pride in it. And I think with my posting, it just resonates, that spark that is already in our community. And like a lot of people look at me and they say, you're, you know, role model to a lot of Indian women, but I just feel like I'm mirroring what's already happening. And the fact that I have a microphone to be able to say that better or louder than maybe other people, that's the only difference. But I don't think I per se did anything different. I kind of just went with this incredible movement that we're all feeling individually as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. We're always like, when we were like, people would tell us that we didn't look Indian, we would think it's a compliment, but it's because we didn't grow up with like Indian representation everywhere. So we were like, oh, like we know nothing about like being Indian or like really embodying that.
Exactly.
And now we're like, yeah, we're Indian. Don't insult us and say we're not.
Right? Like Miss Universe.
Look at that Indian girl doing amazing. Or look at that Indian. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of representation. And
my go-to is always, oh my God, we're the CEO of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, we literally are. Now like the CEOs of everything from like Twitter to ClassPass or whatever companies are being started are really Indian.
Google, guys, literally Google. The CEO of Google is Indian. And
I know.
I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me, but I did not know that.
No, there's like new music label executives that are Indian too. I think like the CEO of Universal or like some of the big music labels are Indian.
I haven't heard of that one. Amazing. No, absolutely. I think we're just incredible. And we're 1/5 of the entire world population. So it's like, we're not really a minority anymore. we're here to stay. Yeah.
There you go. Speaking of social media, how do you, especially now since you're a mother and a business owner, how do you find that balance between like your personal life and sharing and posting and time for family and work?
Well, let me tell you, no day is like the other, and it's hectic as AF. It is insane in the Diipa Khosla household. But honestly, it's just time management and prioritizing things, you know. And luckily with Inde Wild, I do have an incredible team, and they really are my everything. Like they're, you know, every single member of the team is like my soul and heart. Like they really believe in the mission, and so they work as hard as me, and that makes life a lot easier as well. Of course, everyone in my personal brand team is incredible. So I think really building an amazing team the last few years has helped me get a lot of kind of, I guess, just like peace over a lot of the projects I'm doing. And then of course there's Dua, and with her, again, I was so blessed to have an angel of a child. Like the kid literally sleeps for 12 hours a night since week 8. So
that's like my energy right now.
Just being able to like sleep an entire night from that early on helps you get back to track, you know, and be able to do all the things you need to do. So it's just, yeah, I think all those things are blessings. And then on top of that, of course, there's days I'm just pulling my hair out and being like, this is too much. Like I cannot handle all of this. And everyone has those days, I think. But it's really just, if you enjoy what you do, you know, and it's so cliche, everyone says that if you enjoy it, it's not really work, but it's truly that. Like what I'm building within Inde Wild and what I do online to like connect with my audience, I really just love that so much, that I wake up every morning not even thinking that I'm ever going to have a burnout or anything like that, because I just love it. And so yeah, that's, I think, the answer.
I love that. Speaking of Inde Wild, I'm wearing your the morning serum right now. So yes, I love your product, and I love that you use the desi, like the Ayurveda that we use back in India. How did you like decide that you wanted to do this? I know you've been very open about having acne, which a lot of us girls have growing up, and I wish that like my mom told me not to pick my acne when I was younger.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I was like always like picking at it. So how did you decide that that's the route you want to take?
I think definitely my personal journey of, like I said, the Indian pride and representation helped a lot. I think in that, finding that pride, like it's always, you know, a lot of Desi women, and that's Inde Wild's like basic kind of outside of the product. If you go back to like just the branding of it, what Inde Wild is is essentially a modern Desi woman in a bottle. And what I mean by that is all of us feel this very significant friction point where on the one hand, we love our culture, our mothers, our grandmother, our tradition, and everything that is basically home. But at the same time, we're not our mother and we're not our grandmother. Like, we're young, independent, we believe in science, we believe in facts, we want to marry who we want to marry, like have sex before marriage. Like, we're in this constant friction between these two worlds where I love Ayurveda and I love everything that that stands for, but I need it to be science backed. Like, I need to know that turmeric is not just something my grandmother told me is going to work, but it actually works, you know?
Yeah.
And so Inde Wild is the personification of that friction point in a product where there's the Ayurveda, where mom and grandmom and wholesomeness and family and all of that, and 5,000 years of tradition. And then there's the science that is cutting edge innovation that proves that the Ayurveda works, you know, and almost like fortifies it. And it's what we all are as a person. And which is why I keep saying a modern Desi woman, because that's what Inde Wild is. It is taking and almost globalizing Ayurveda in the most kind of scientifically proven way, and not just with like a brand that has elephants and gold leaves on it to be like, here's Ayurveda, use it, you know. It's really like Ayurveda works. Here are the clinical studies behind it as well, and that's why I think I'm just so passionate about it, because it is, Ayurveda is so incredible. And to be able to take that again to a global stage, the way I took myself as an Indian influencer, now doing that for Ayurveda in the beauty space is just incredible.
Wow, I love that. We really grew up using like holy masks on our face. But you really did describe like all of us in a bottle. Like, I feel like we're all people that are like between two cultures or two worlds, combining that. So that's a great brand pitch.
And your mom is a doctor as well, right? So did she have a hand in helping you, or was she like, you know, in the background, like helping you out as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this in-house expert board in Inde Wild, and the reason for this board was always that it wasn't just another influencer brand. And you know, it was very easy for me to just get a white label product, put my name on it, and be like, here, the Diipa Khosla brand, everyone buy it. But that's not the route I wanted to go down. It truly had to be something with that, like I said, scientific backing and like expert knowledge. And so I am a junkie. Like, I know everything about skincare and ingredients, but I've never studied it. So I wanted to build this in-house board, out of which my mom is the main person. Then we have 4 other women. Each one is like a Harvard educated dermatologist. We have a 4th generation Ayurvedic doctor. Wow. We have a 10-year experienced formulator from L'Oreal that created like SkinCeuticals and CeraVe. And we have this PhD student who studies innovation in skincare. So these women together are the expert level that basically say, use this ingredient from chemistry or use this ingredient from Ayurveda and combine them in this way. And mom has a big say in the Ayurvedic part, as well as the kind of dermatology part, because she's an Ayurvedic doctor and dermatologist. So mom is very much in it. And actually in the future, we might even come up with a product together that is completely like co-made, which will be super exciting. But that's more for in the future.
Well, congratulations. That's amazing. I like that you said you don't want it to be an influencer brand, because a lot of those brands come and go, and we know that you're here to stay and actually help, you know, women like us and other women with their skincare. So congratulations on that.
We're always working on our
skin. Good. It's so nice to hear that. And if you guys have any kind of ideas of what you want the future products to be, or like any wish list things, do let me know, because I'm always like open to hearing cool ideas and like awesome things you guys want next.
I will absolutely send you my ideas.
Good. Do that please.
What is your favorite product from Inde Wild? I know there's a lot, probably.
You're gonna make me choose my 2 children. I cannot. No, honestly, I cannot. I mean, the AM one is just a like powerhouse of a serum. It's just so good.
My favorite.
Fighting, you know, hyperpigmentation. It's so good at like fading acne scarring. It's like the glow it gives is unreal. But the evening one is like unbelievable. It's like putting this royal ritual on your skin with the smell of saffron coming out of it that takes you back to India, and then the bakuchiol, which kind of like fights as a like a retinol alternative, so you wake up with like baby soft skin. So
It's
I
true.
I really
It's like I woke up like this. Like my mom literally said something one day. She's like, "You look so much better without makeup," in the morning. And I'm like, "Skincare, honey." Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I really can't pick. Maybe when we have this call and I have like 10 products, then I'll tell you my favorite.
We also saw that you like hit all of your goals with the brand. So how does that feel? Because you didn't just start this business, but it's been like hitting your expectations or reaching your goals.
Yeah, it's unreal, guys. Honestly, like I always knew Inde Wild was gonna fill a hole in the market in the sense of like really globalizing Ayurveda and giving something for us Desi girls finally. Like it's our brand that we're proud of. I had no idea how much the need was though. Like our first 3 months of sales were basically what we thought we would do the first year. Like it's crazy. And we sold out twice, and currently we're raising our seed round, and the valuation the brand has just 3 months after launching is unreal. Like I can't share that just yet because we're closing the round, but in a few weeks you'll see some press go up about it. But it's wild. Like this is the kind of valuation I've only heard beauty brands get after like 3 years of being, alive and like doing so much in the world. So it just like is here to show again the power of representation and the power of like a brand that really values like honesty and like authenticity over just like let's make a quick buck and get a brand out. So yeah, I'm so like shocked and proud, and just like also gives me so much energy to like do more with it, and create more. But yeah, that's
businesswoman. You know what? We don't mean you're a businesswoman because I feel like makeup is it is saturated. There's so many brands, so much. But if you really think about it, we don't have that representation for like our kind of skin. Like there's a Korean brand,
and brown skin is so different.
Mm-hmm. It is. We're different than, different skin. Like, so you coming out with that, and you've also been influencer of the year so many times, and you've talked about like you back up your stuff. So I feel like I can see why you're so successful because you walk the walk, you talk the talk. So
how is it? Do you think it's like a different type of feeling or gratitude you get like when you see yourself like on a magazine cover or hitting those types of goals versus like, oh, this is a brand I created, or is it like the same type of success?
No, and I don't think I knew it until I like experienced it, but creating something that is going to outlive me, and if that gets recognition, it almost feels like a legacy kind of recognition, and that is so much more fulfilling than Diipa Khosla on the red carpet, or Diipa Khosla, lala. I think that is incredible, but it almost kind of feels more like futile or something. It's like it's just about me, and then
fleeting.
Media, and fleeting. And social media is such a fickle world that in a few months people are going to forget about that cover or that red carpet. But when the brand gets it, it almost feels like it's a win for all of us. It's a win for Desi representation. It's a win for Ayurveda. It's a win for like us, that we're not a minority anymore. And so I think that feels so much more powerful to me, for sure. Yeah.
Aww, I love that.
Well, we know that you gave us some time, so we don't want to take too much, but we do want to ask you some questions before you go. Is that okay?
Sure. Let's
some quick questions.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, Jyoti, I want to ask her a question about her husband first. Real quick.
Okay, we'll let her do that.
It could be a quick answer. Jyoti and me always talk about like dating, and we are both single and have major issues with our dating lives. And your relationship with your husband looks so amazing and wonderful. What's like the secret to a great relationship?
Find your equal, I think. Like there should never be a power difference in the relationship. I think if you fully respect him and he fully respects you, that's gonna take you across like the muddy waters and all that stuff in life, so like just true respect for each other. I think is the most important in a long-term relationship. And how to get a partner like that is just purely manifestation. And I've always said that, like, you truly can do it and you can get it. And I just wish I could kind of scream it from the mountaintops and hope everyone believes me, but everyone truly can. And yeah, it's about just doing it and believing in yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Now we could go to the line. I had to ask her.
Of course.
No, of course. No, we love that. We love to see happy relationships. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's just a quick game. It's not so much pressure, no time clock.
Oh,
so,
good.
What is one thing the world doesn't know about you?
Oh, that I used to be an athlete. I was like a really fast sprinter when I was a teenager. I did the 100 meters in 15 seconds. It's not that impressive compared to Olympic level, but I was pretty fast.
Like
For
that
brown people, that is.
mentality, the yes into business. What's a big turnoff for you?
Big turnoff. Arrogance.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
people who just are not humble is a big turnoff. Yeah.
All-time favorite song?
Ooh, all-time favorite.
Or just one of your favorites right now, I guess.
Oh God. Love Me Tender, Elvis Presley.
Okay. Last show you binge watched?
Last show I binge watched, The Office, like for the second time, all the seasons.
You get so much credit for that. I love The Office.
Yeah, me too.
Most important part of skincare to you?
Most important part, consistency. Like, do it every day.
Hardest part of motherhood?
Hardest part. Perhaps of a working mother is that you always feel guilty. You don't give your child enough.
Aw. And then biggest mommy misconception?
That traveling is hard. I don't know why I get so many DMs of people being like, how can you travel with Dua so much? Da, da, da. And maybe it's perhaps all like in my personality that we're quite chill, but it's really not that difficult to travel with a child. I don't know.
She's gonna have another child and be like, just kidding. I lied.
Exactly. That's probably what's going to happen. But with her, and maybe because she's such an angel and a trooper, like, it's really easy to travel with the child. So that's a misconception to future moms. You can do it.
She really is a Dua.
And then last one, thing you find most attractive in your husband?
His confidence. Yeah. He is, I think, I've never ever seen him not confident in his life. Like, you could literally put him in front of Obama and he would just be the same guy. It's just his like sheer unshakable confidence. It's so good.
Oh, I love that.
Amen to that.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time to talk to us again. We love having you on. I could pick your brain for like hours if you gave me that time. So
amazing, guys. It is such a pleasure. And good luck. And before I go, thank you for doing this for us as well, for us Stacey's, and for the representation. And keep going. I'm super proud of you guys.
Oh, thank you. And we are proud of you.
Yeah, thanks for being like the big sister to all of us out there. And have fun in Africa. Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a good evening.
Bye.
I mean, day.
Bye.